Hi, my name is Jason George, and I've come to talk to you about challenging preconceptions. I know that a lot of you may not know a lot about me, so I have an agenda that's set up where you're going to get to know a little bit about me. You're going to get to know some of my highlight photos, and then we're going to talk solely about black and white animals. We'll do a little safari eye training activity, and then we'll do a question and answer. So, before we get started, I just want you to think about your favorite animal, and through this presentation, I'm going to try to show you your favorite animal. Have you heard of Algonquin Park? Well, I had the awesome opportunity in 2021 to host a gallery there for 6 months. It was awesome. I love to take people on safaris and try to go and find an animal. There was this one time we were out looking for a fox, but we saw a tern, we saw a mink, we also saw some Canada geese. Don't worry, we did end up seeing the animal that we were looking for, the red fox. Have you ever seen a red fox? Oh, awesome. We'll come back and talk about that in a little bit. Well, I am a little bit silly, and I have no clue who this lady is or who is taking the picture. But I decided that I wanted to photobomb this photo. And I'm not the only one. And this right here is the difference between a cell phone photo and a good photo. When you have a good camera, sometimes you get these amazing opportunities and you take a picture and you hope that one day, maybe, it might end up in a newspaper or a magazine. And I had that awesome opportunity with this photo. What's the coolest thing about this photo, though, is that I actually have a narwhal tusk in my hand. And the most interesting thing is that the narwhal tusk is actually hollow on the inside. To understand how tall that narwhal tusk is, it's from the floor all the way up to just inside my nose. I could have picked my nose with it. But that's gross because it's actually not my narwhal tusk. So when I travel, I like to do something that a lot of people probably don't do. I like to go and I like to give back to the communities that I'm visiting. So this started in 2020 and I did a presentation in Jamaica. It was an awesome opportunity and I did 2 presentations that year. And every year since then I try to do at least 1 or 2 while I'm traveling to visit my family. I also like to help out animals while I'm traveling. On one recent trip to Jamaica, I ended up getting to swim with a green sea turtle, and I watched a mother lay 200 eggs. I helped move 500 eggs to safer locations, and I watched 800 babies crawl out of the sand, across the beach, and go swimming for the first time. And I was lucky enough to actually have the opportunity to go swimming with some of them. I've also done some work eradicating invasive species. So this is a lionfish, and in March of 2025, I went scuba diving, and I went looking for lionfish, and I actually shot a couple, and then we cleaned them, and I even cooked them, and I ate them. It was an amazing experience to be helping the environment that I love so much. There's one experience where I was actually scuba diving and I went down to see these sunken planes and a ship. It was awesome. We went down, we saw the ship, and then we went swimming through these planes, and then in the distance I saw a turtle. And then on the way back from seeing the turtle, I saw this lionfish and I shot it first time. I was excited, and then I saw a spotted ray. And as I followed this spotted ray, I ended up realizing, man, my time is up. And I'm tasting a lot of metal in my breath. And all of a sudden I realize I'm running out of air. I'm out of air, 70 feet below the surface of the water. Luckily, I was scuba diving with a dive master, and I joined up with him, and we were buddy breathing on our way up to the surface. And that is why you always want to be scuba diving with a friend and a trained professional. Have you ever heard of the word karma? Well, that is something that I think is super important. Have you heard of it? Yeah, there's good karma and bad karma, right? So if you do something good kind of happens, and if you do bad, something bad might happen. Well, I'm a strong believer in that. And in March 2023, I went to a place called Trenchtown, Kingston, Jamaica. Does anyone here know about Jamaica? Okay, so okay, what about Kingston, Jamaica? Trenchtown, Kingston, Jamaica? Okay, so there's probably a lot of people in this room that would never go to Kingston, Jamaica, and maybe not even Trenchtown, Kingston, Jamaica. And that's okay, but I really wanted to go there and just understand a little bit. It is a very dangerous place. And to sort of sum it up, if you live on this one side of the street, you're not really allowed on the other side of the street because of long-term turmoil. But I went in there and I didn't have an issue. We came and we brought pictures for all of the kids. We brought a meal and also a drink because this might be the only meal that they have for the day. And do you think that this is an example of good karma or bad karma? Oh, yeah, right? Good karma. And so these pictures get shared, and then 2 days later, my phone rings. And I answer it, and then I get this message, hey, do you want to be in a music video? So I got into a music video in 2023 that hopefully is about to come out soon because I did something good. Huh. That's pretty cool. On another trip, I was in India and I was able to set up a presentation for the locals there, and I actually had someone translating the words that I was saying so that I could connect to more people in the crowd. And then this past September, I got this opportunity to go to Brazil looking for jaguars, which was awesome. And I also set up this amazing opportunity for me to go to a school there, and I did 2 presentations. It's an awesome opportunity, and there's actually something really cool that came from this experience that I'll explain to you a little bit later. But let's get you involved with this. Let's see how well you know your animals. So what is this animal? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, it is a stingray. You're correct. What about this one? No, not an octopus. Oh, yeah, you're correct. It is a squid. What about this animal? Okay, be more specific. We know it's a squirrel. Oh, yeah, that's an albino squirrel. What about this animal? A crocodile. Nice. And what about this animal? Shark? Come on. Oh, yes, you're correct. It's a great white shark. And it's awesome getting to be in the water with these animals. But I'm not going to lie, when I was in the water with this great white shark, it was absolutely terrifying, especially when it came and it hit the cage as I was in it. But you don't have to travel far to see amazing animals. You can go right in your backyard and see a cool animal. But the key to photography, though, is timing. Because with a good photo, this is a good photo, but with proper timing, you can take a good photo and make it amazing. My favorite animal that is around locally that I can go and look for often is the owl. And for some of you, you might not be able to see the owl in this photo because just like life's problems, sometimes we get distracted by the things around it. But if you look closely, you might be able to see this eastern screech owl. Here's a boreal owl. Here's a barred owl. And this is a saw-whet owl. And this saw-whet owl, I call this photo the wink, in that it's about the size of this water container. Not all owls are massive. Here's a really cool owl. This is the northern hawk owl. And this owl will hunt during the spring, summer, fall, and it'll stash its food in different areas. And then in the wintertime, when food is hard to find, it'll actually fly and go to those spots where it hid that food, and it'll eat the food that it hid. That's so smart. It has to sit on it to warm it up because owls don't have microwaves. But it's a little bit easier to find that food than hunting for new food. Wow. Animals are so smart. And, of course, there are baby owls. What's the tallest animal in the world? Oh, you are correct. It's a giraffe. And so you might not be able to tell it from this giraffe to that giraffe, but if you compare these giraffes to those giraffes over there, you might be able to notice that their pattern is different. So just like you and I, we have different fingerprints. These giraffes have different patterns too. You and I might not be able to see it, but it is there, and you can actually take a look and you can see easily, hopefully, the difference from this giraffe to those giraffes. Do any of you drive? And you know when you're driving and all of a sudden an animal runs out on the road like a squirrel or a rabbit and you swerve? Well, in Africa, they have to worry about elephants running out. And they're about the size of a garbage truck. So this next photo is actually one of my favorite photos. Oh, sorry. Why are you laughing at that? Oh, is it because it's a rhino bum? Right? And I know that's so silly that I say that this photo is one of my favorite. And it's a bum. Compared to all of the photos I've shown you so far, well, I'm going to also tell you that a little bum is better than no bum. Yes, I know it sounds funny, but honestly, just wait. This photo is a photo of a northern white rhino. Do you know anything about the northern white rhino? Yeah? Exactly. It's almost extinct. There's 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken, that are left in the world. So again, when I said a little bum's better than no bum, this animal might not exist very soon. That, to me, is crazy. And that's why this is one of my favorite photos. When I was young, my favorite animal was really fast. And I hoped that I could one day see one. And I did get that opportunity, and I got to see some cheetahs. And on this experience, it's a mom with a cub. And I think it's actually its first time, or one of its first times hunting alone. And mom goes, "Hey, it's your turn." And you know what? That cheetah got so close to the Thompson gazelle. And depending on who you're cheering for, this story goes one of 2 ways. And that cheetah, it got within a car length of the Thompson gazelle, if not closer. And it zigged when it should have zagged. And unfortunately, the Thompson gazelle got away. And just like you, maybe the first time you try something, maybe you don't succeed. And this cheetah went back to mom, and mom condoled it. And I'm sure that next time it did a little bit better. Right? When you practice things, you get better. But you know what? I think I might be going a little bit quick for some of you. So I'm actually just going to slow it down for a second. Oh, I'm glad that you got that one. So this is a 3-toed sloth. And honestly, not everybody thinks they're cute. But maybe we can agree that a baby sloth is cute. Imagine being up in that tree as that mom and looking down and seeing a leopard looking up at you as you were hiding in that tree. That would be absolutely terrifying. Luckily, though, I am 2,000 feet up in the air in a hot air balloon and not in the tree looking down at this leopard. When people talk about my photos, they actually often talk about this photo as a wild pony from Dartmoor, England, or this as the moose in the mist. There's often times that people really love this animal and they don't think that it actually exists, but I truly believe that the unicorn does exist. Here's an example of the unicorn. Look, there's two of them. Wow. I know, it's not actually a unicorn, it's a deer with one antler. But it's the closest we can get, I think. How many of you like to fish? Oh, that's awesome. So there's one time I'm fishing and I'm going to the good spots, I'm going to the bad spots, good spots, no spot, bad spot, and I'm not getting a single bite. It's the worst day of fishing ever. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see something walking towards me. And I think it's a cougar coming to eat me. And as I look, I notice that it's actually a baby deer. And this baby deer actually came and it sat down right beside me. And yes, I know that most people would love to touch that baby deer. But the moment you touch that baby deer, you've probably just killed it. Because the way that a baby deer protects itself is it has no scent. And it can hang out in that bush or that spot for hours until mom comes back. A bear could run by it, a wolf, and it won't be able to smell it. The moment you touch it and you put your smell on it, well, now it has a scent and it can get caught by a predator. And that is why you shouldn't touch a baby deer unless you know that it needs help. Don't worry, I did take a selfie with it. There was this one time I was driving and all of a sudden the road moved and I didn't know how to tell the people that were in the car with me. Because that's terrifying. And then its head moved across the yellow line and I realized that the road didn't move, but I had just seen my first wolf. Wow. An apex predator. I love apex predators. And maybe one of the most ferocious and favorite apex predator for most people is this animal, the lion. And most of us, if I were to ask you where do lions live, most people are probably saying Africa. But here are pictures of me with lions in India. The first two pictures I showed you were of me in Africa. But there are lions that live in India that most people don't actually even know about. And I think they're absolutely beautiful. And hey, maybe it's okay to learn something new. Well, I do hope that you've enjoyed this presentation so far. And now we're going to get into me talking only about black and white animals. I am dyslexic, and I didn't say my first word until I was 4. If you don't know what dyslexia means, it means that I sometimes struggle to read and write, and not saying my first word means that I sometimes struggle and stutter on my words. But I remember being told that a picture's worth 1,000 words, so I'm going to try to use my words to relay some messages to you. Are you okay with that? Are you ready for that? Okay. Well, sit back, relax, and please listen to some of the stories that I am going to share with you. So here is an animal that a lot of people are actually afraid of. And it is quite camouflaged here, being that there is a porcupine there if you can't tell. But if you actually look at the porcupine, you can see that it is honestly a pretty cute and awesome animal. So let's imagine that we are all whales. So we're this awesome pod of whales and we're swimming along and we see some food, some krill off in the distance. And so what's going to happen is one of us is going to leave the pod and sacrifice for the good of the pod and swim around those krills and release what's referred to as a wall of bubbles, or this is called bubble feeding. And so this wall of bubbles will trap the krill as the rest of the animals where the rest of the whales can come open mouths and fill their bellies with food. And I think that this is amazing that the largest animals in the world will work as a group to help everybody out. Everybody takes a turn creating this wall of bubbles and everybody gets fed. And I think that this is amazing, and if the animals can do it, maybe we can. But since we're on the water, let's actually dive inside the water. And this animal is pretty cool. This is a spotted eagle ray. Its tail is probably close to double my height. Yeah. And it's black and white so it fits in, and this is an awesome experience that I have as I'm hanging out and swimming with this beautiful creature. I love the way that you can see it flapping its fins, or are they wings? Because to me this almost looks like an eagle flying through the air. What are your thoughts? Thanks for hanging out with us. And off it goes. So do you think that that looks sort of like a bald eagle, maybe? Well, to me it looks like a bald eagle. And what's crazy to me is that people, when we talk about bald eagles, they say that they only live in America. Well, I have left my house in Wasaga Beach and gone up to Thunder Bay. And I've seen 56 different bald eagles in one trip. There's actually nesting pairs of bald eagles around Wasaga Beach and the surrounding areas. And if you get the opportunity to see one, they're awesome. We have a juvenile that doesn't have its white head, and then we have an adult with its white head. Oh. Oftentimes people talk about trying to get their ducks in a row, and here I am, I'm just trying to get my monkeys in a row. And if we actually take a look at these monkeys, we're going to see two different species. Over here we have the capuchin monkey, and we have a howler monkey. And so, which one do you think looks happy? Do you think that this one looks happy, or do you think that this one looks happy? Okay, so this one you think looks happy? Okay, it looks pretty relaxed and chill in the tree. And this one doesn't look happy. I agree with you. And so when I took that picture, I looked at it in my camera, and I walked over and I showed my guide. And my guide was like, "Whoa." And he made me show it to our boat driver. And I show it to the boat driver, and the boat driver, all of a sudden, he screams out to everybody, "Hold on." And as he backs up, something crazy happened. And does anybody know here what a monkey does when it's upset? Yeah, it can scream, it can yell. It does something else. Yeah, it'll poop and throw its feces at you. So now back to that story. As we start backing up, this monkey goes, but luckily because we had given it space, it didn't throw feces at us. And I'm going to tell you, everybody on that boat was happy that I made the decision or showed this picture to everybody. And I don't think that there's anyone here that is in this room that is a monkey expert. But if you can look at this picture and you can tell that that monkey is upset, maybe you can look at your friends and family and tell that they are upset. And maybe you can give them some space. This is an animal that's interesting to me. The zebra. And so this animal is black and white, and it stands out amongst the browns and the greens and the blues of its environment. But how does it protect itself? Well, it does something really interesting. It often hangs out with friends. And because the animal that's hunting it can only see black and white, it can't distinguish the difference between the two of them, and it just thinks it's this large animal. So it leaves it be. So hanging out with your friends and family can be a good thing for you. Okay, this next animal, I know that you have all held it in your hand. So what's a black and white animal that you have all held in your hand? A spider? I don't know if we've all held a spider. Oh, a dog? Have we all held a dog? Okay. Well, I think that we have all held this animal in our hand. You haven't? Oh. Sorry, why are you... That's right, that is a loon. Yeah, the loony? I know, it's a bad joke, I totally agree with you. But I have actually got to hold 2 different loons in my life. An amazing experience. But honestly, the reason I told you that joke was really just to set up this next joke. And I call this next photo a toonie. I know, it's a bad joke, but I think it's funny. And what's amazing about this picture is these birds are doing something that I think that we need to do more of. And this is, these 2 loons are hugging. And I think that is so amazing. And I think it's something that we do not do enough of. And if the animals can do it, maybe we can do it more too. What do you think? Well, this animal is black with white dots. This animal is white with black dots. And this animal most people think is an Arctic snowy owl, but if you actually hang around Georgian Bay, you might actually get to see one of these owls. Because from November to March, they hang out in this area. That is so cool, getting to see a snowy owl in the wild. So an animal that I love is a penguin. Do you like penguins? Oh, yes, awesome. So let me ask you a couple questions. What color are they? Black and white. You're right, so that fits into our whole theme. Can they fly? What? No, okay. Can they slide? What do they slide? So ice and snow, yeah. Do they swim? Yeah, they swim, okay. What do they eat? Fish, squid, sort of like the ones I showed you earlier, you're right. Are we positive about everything that we've said? You said that they live in snow. I'm not seeing any snow in this picture here. I know it's actually a common misconception that all penguins live in snow. Because that's what we get told. And I guess sometimes TV and the internet shows things one way when it's actually the other way. But these are South African penguins.
It's playing to the penguins in South Africa, a song he learned in India.
You can actually see beaches and houses in the background there. Not all penguins live in the snow. They're actually awesome. And I have so many cool opportunities that I got to see these penguins and baby penguins. Actually, recently, I had a situation where someone shared some false information about me. And they shared this flyer advertising me, similar to how those penguins sometimes get misrepresented. And it actually took me 30 days to get the apology that they offered me. And that's crazy to me that it took that long. But it happens, unfortunately, to this day that things get misinterpreted or misshared. So have you ever been somewhere and you've asked someone to take a picture of you? Well, there's this one time I knew that something cool was about to happen, and I walked up to this guy and I was like, hey, can you take a picture of me? Me, purple shirt, red fox. Purple shirt, red fox, same picture. Eventually he gets it, and he takes this picture that to me is amazing. He got me, purple shirt. He got this red fox. And if you look closely, you can actually see there's like a rainbow off of that red fox. What? That's not a red. What do you mean that's not a? That is a red fox. No, hold on. Let's don't just believe me. Let's do a quick test. Hold up your hand. Look at your hand, look at my hand. Look at someone else's hand. Look at your hand, look at my hand, look at your hand, look at someone else's hand, look at your hand. Was anybody's hand the exact same as yours? No, okay. But we're all still human, correct? Cool. So let's zoom in on this picture. And that's a red fox. I promise you. Okay. Have I lied to you yet since I've gotten to know you? No. Okay, no, exactly. So why would I start now? So here's a red fox. But when I say red fox, I assume this is probably what you think of. And so the problem is someone put the word red in the word fox. And so if you look at this red fox, you'll see red hair, white hair, and some black hair. When we look at this one, we'll see black hair. We'll see some white hair. If you look closely, you can actually see a little bit of red hair. And I know that it's hard to sort of understand, but this is a red fox. Her babies look like this. Her brothers and sisters look like that. Just how you and I, we all look different. All foxes look different. She is a red fox. Often referred to as she is a melanistic red fox. Similar to how we saw that albino squirrel. This is the yin to the yang, sort of. I've only ever seen one melanistic red fox in my life, and it was this one. And it was in downtown Toronto. And here's the thing. You might not really know much about it, but if we look at leopards and jaguars, and then you hear the word Black Panther, you know what that is. Well, a Black Panther is a melanistic jaguar or a melanistic leopard. This is the melanistic red fox. There's also something called a cross fox. It's pretty amazing. And I have never seen this fox, and I would love to, but there's actually an albino red fox that some people have spotted, and I would love to one day see this. But I'm blessed that Megan shared these with me so that I could now share them with other people. Wow. All these different variations make everything so beautiful. Well, let's play a little bit of an eye training game. Let's see how well you can spot the animal. If you see the animal, you can say it out or shout it out. If you know its species, where it is, shout those things out. Let's go. This is a Highland cow. There's a couple in the background. This next animal, you've all held in your hand. Nope. Have you held a moose in your hand? Oh. A caribou? You held a caribou in your hand? Oh, on a quarter. Smart. You got my clue. There you go. This next animal. This was an escaped camel in India. Do you see this animal? Yeah, it's pretty tough. Oh, you see two of them. Okay, so there's Thompson gazelles. What was the other animal I said when I said Thompson gazelle? Yes, cheetah. So there's a cheetah camouflaging so well. But we live in Ontario, so let's focus on an animal that I want to help you try to see in this next little bit. Can you spot the owl? This is the easiest place to see an owl. You are correct. That is a snowy owl on a light post. Anytime you drive past a light post, look on top, maybe you see an owl. Do you see it in this photo? Oh, you do? Where is it? Right there? No. Oh. They can't all be on posts. They often are hunting on the ground. In this next photo, there is not an owl, but we're going to be looking for a male owl. So every owl I've shown you is black with white so far. That's a snowy owl. And those are females. A male snowy owl is all white. So it's basically like looking for a snowball in the snow. And so there is no owl in this picture. But we're going to go and it's going to end up being right there. So I was driving 80 kilometers because that's what the speed limit says. And as I'm driving, I look over and I see something on the ground. I take a picture. Do you see it? No? Okay, well, I take a step closer. Oh, some of you see. Some of you have no clue, so here you go. Do we see it now? Yeah. It's crazy. So let's go back. Do you still see it? Do you still see it? Follow that fence line. That fence line, it's way up. I have no clue how I saw it. I just get lucky spotting animals sometimes. But what makes this moment actually really special to me is that I got out, I stopped my car, I took a picture, I stepped closer, I took a picture, and then I walk back, I get in my car, and as I'm driving off, that owl is still where I saw it. It didn't move, I didn't scare it. I got to observe and enjoy the animal without having a negative impact on it. And I think that is what a good wildlife photographer does. Enjoys the animal, but not changes their behavior. This, do you see the animal here? Oh, yeah, that's a tiger. That's a good one. And I know that all of you probably are like, Jay, you are a little bit crazy, and you know what? I totally agree with you. And that is why I have my own hot sauce called Crazy Canuck. Because, hey, I'm a little bit crazy. I told you that I was dyslexic. Well, what's funny and interesting about that is I actually have written a couple books. I have these books about Canadian wildlife and African wildlife that I worked on with Jimmy McGann. And then I also worked on some about learning disability because somebody wanted me to share my experiences. So I worked on this project with Candace, and then we created an app. And as we were doing this, someone was like, well, what about the kids? And we were like, we got them. So we created some books that were solely geared towards kids and talking about us all being different. And we're currently working on different books about the individual characters in the book. And we have an app where you can actually spell different words with J. You can do some math, and you can just have some fun with the group. And hopefully you partake. It's called Learning This Ability. When you're with me, you take a picture of the animal, and then you have to spell it. But I don't believe that you should be on your phones all the time, so I actually created this memory game or concentration game where you have two pictures of of my favorite animals in Canada, and then you sort of mix and match them. And then I've worked on this new project that I think is amazing and super fun, and I have these books that are on individual animals: red foxes, moose, cheetah, penguin, owls. There's a full coloring book related to this series. There's a leopard snow leopards, there's lion, and I'm currently working on a jaguar book. What makes this jaguar book extra cool is that it's actually being translated to Portuguese from the school that I did 2 presentations for. So this book series is called Going Deeper with Jason George because we go and we talk about how cute the animals are, but we also talk about them pooping, mating, tracking them, a little bit of the behind the scenes, so we go deeper into the experiences. And then I have these coloring pages that are set up so that you can color the animals that are in the book. And you can even watch videos of some of the experiences on my YouTube channel. So now this book is super interactive. There are people out there who love the sound of my voice, so I actually created some sleep meditation on Spotify. Some days I'm not feeling so pretty, so I wear my buff to cover my face and keep the mosquitoes away. I also have an awesome ring, and if you're ever in the Wasaga Beach area, feel free to stop by and visit my Natural History Museum. It's free to visit, donations welcome. I've also started this awesome wildlife club where we do some really cool and unique things, and it's very inexpensive. We do one event about a month, and they're all kinds of different fun things. This year we're going to meet up with Barefoot Brian and go foraging. We're going to have something with Speaking of Wildlife. We're going to do a beach cleanup. We're going to do all kinds of awesome activities. And here is an example of some past activities. You can actually see the kids cut my hair. They actually recently just cut my hair. Every 2 years we do that. We've gone to a taxidermy shop. It's so much fun. And then I wanted to do something else, and I'm in the process of starting a charity. So in this charity, I call it Epic First, and we go to different sporting events or activities, and I try to create awesome experiences for people with special needs. We've gone to Blue Jay games, Leaf games, Argo games, Raptor games. We even recently last month went skydiving. And it's all through donations from the community. I get tickets and experiences and money, and then I try to create these awesome experiences for these amazing friends in my community. But since I haven't shown you any animals in a while, here are a quick blast of a whole bunch of animals for you. And honestly, I hope that you've enjoyed this experience, and maybe you follow me on YouTube and enjoy and see some of these animals in more in depth. If you've enjoyed this, I just wanted to share a few more slides with you because I have some other presentations where I talk about just tracking African wildlife, hanging out with lions at nighttime. I get chased by 100 baboons and have to throw a stone at one of them to protect myself. I save a penguin, I track cheetahs, and I'm on foot a few feet away from 3 wild cheetahs. And I hang out with leopards. It's amazing. If you're into that, that's an awesome presentation. If you want to experience the animals in India, I have a presentation on that. And the animal that most people want to see when they go to India is the tiger. We spent 4 hours with one. An animal that a lot of people hope they see while they're in India is the leopard. And we got to hang out with 4-month-old cubs there. Oh. And again, remember the animal that most people don't know that lives in India? Well, that's the lion, and we talk more about them. And an animal that most people hope to see, but they never see, well, that's the snow leopard. And I actually have got to see cubs, 8-month-old, playing with mom, and I've seen a male and a female mating. It's an awesome presentation if you enjoy that and the people. We talk a little bit about them. If you want to go into Brazil and learn about the Pantanal jungle, I have a presentation on that where we look at caimans and giant otters. We look at the birds of the jungles. We also talk about an experience I got to do, which was super cool, fishing for golden piranhas. We go underneath the Iguazu Falls. We look at them from the Brazil side and the Argentine side. We look at all of the other animals that are there. And I was lucky enough that I got to spot 19 different jaguars. This was an awesome experience, and I hope that you check out some of the videos on it. If you are someone who likes watching shows on TV, maybe you've seen me pop up in a show. I showed up in Amazing Race and some other videos that you might like. But I want to turn the floor over to you, and if you have a question, please feel free to ask at this point.